Hello, Expand Dog. How you doing, dude?
So I think now is the appropriate time to talk about my thoughts on something. Maybe actually, I'm debating. Maybe I should go pee first. Do I have a video? Right on time. The Kiwi Farms is not actually loading, so I can't. Give me a sec. Okay, do I have a video to play? You know what? I'm gonna show the DSP video real quick, and then I will I will go pee while it plays. I'll talk about DSP, and then I'll get to the lawsuit. Sorry to tease. All right, let's set this up.
All right. Here's the big update, ladies and gentlemen, I have for all of you. All right.
A few moments later.
What happened is, since the word of the documentary hit the internet, there's 98% of the interest is the toxic negative. Everyone who hates
what he's talking about is that he is Mike Clum kind of fucked up because I don't think he realized how sensitive Dark Side Phil was to negative discussion. One of his top A-logs is this guy called It's a Gundam, and It's a Gundam was interviewed live on air by Mike Clum. And so Darkside Phil realized that even if Mike has the best intentions to make a very fair documentary, that necessarily means that he's going to talk to people that Darkside Phil doesn't like, and they might get attention in the documentary that drives attention to their channels, which thrive off of making fun of Darkside Phil. So out of a kind of like a purely spiteful direction, he has decided that he's going to cancel this documentary. So that there is no attention driven to the channels that he doesn't like, and he kind of admits this. I think that the other thing that he says is that if he wants to do a documentary, he wants it to be the last documentary. He wants there to be one Dark Side Phil documentary that he endorses, and he wants it to be like a culmination of all his successes and triumphs, and something that he's really proud of, that really reflects on his life. Like, he kind of sees it as a trophy, right, to have a documentary about him. And I think that when he sat back on it and looked like, okay, let's see if we can convince this Mike Clum guy to make a documentary that's as favorable to me as humanly possible. And then he's thinking like, okay, what kind of things could Mike Clum talk about that will make me look really, really good? And there's nothing. I think there's kind of nothing that he can talk about that he would actually be proud of. And I think that realization kind of shook him a bit, where it's like, if he was to narrate his story in a way that's as favorable to him as possible and outlined all the things that he wanted to talk about, he would still come up with a story that even he knows is not favorable to him. It's kind of like, okay, so Darkside Phil was a streamer. He kind of was one of the first video Let's Players on the internet. He created this category that 10,000 other people started doing and did better than him. And he's always been slow to adapt. And now he's put out more videos than basically anyone else on YouTube. If you look at his channel, he has something like 70,000 videos on YouTube because he does his playthroughs in segments. So it's like every day he releases like multiple streams. And they go into like the hundreds, like his long RPG playthroughs go into like 100 view segments. And they get like a couple hundred views each tops. So he has like an incredibly unsuccessful channel that he's poured thousands of hours into over a decade. And it hasn't really accomplished anything. And he's still like a mid-sized streamer. Like, sure, you know, getting a 500 subscribers or whatever is impressive. But if you've been at it for 10 years, it's not really that impressive. It's sort of like, that's kind of 500 subscribers is kind of like what you expect from somebody who actually does stream for a living. You know what I mean? When they're just some guy. The fact that he is someone that's been at it for so long and only has that modicum of success is kind of embarrassing. So he looks at it and he's like, well, I'm being sued by, I'm in bankruptcy. I'm paying off debtors. I barely make any money. I'm married, but we are like celibate, infertile cat parents, and we literally call our cat our child, like our fur baby. That's all really humiliating. There's no way to really construct my life in a way that is flattering to me in the way that I would prefer it to be. So I simply will choose not to have a documentary, even if the documentary would be as fair to me as possible. You know what I mean? Such is life. My son, wife and son, yeah, pretty much. He's been at it since oh god, he did professional playing. I think his channel started in 2006. I can look this up. Dark Side Phil YouTube. DSP Gaming, 64,000 videos, 200,000 subscribers. His last video, Street Fighter 6, has 900 views. The one before that has 300. Almost none of his videos break 1,000 views, regardless of what they are or what they're about. The only streams that I see that have broken 1,000 views are him with Cat, because his wife was fat, and a lot of haters wanted to see Cat because it was the first time that she's been on stream in a very long time. So that brought a lot of interest to the channel. And even then, it was only 2,000 viewers. When did he create his thing though? Joined April 15th, 2010. I'm not sure if that's when he started streaming or if this was like his second YouTube channel, but he's been at it for a very long time. I'll leave it at that. So that's the DSP update, is that he has canceled the Mike Clum documentary, which I was actually looking forward to, because I thought that would be like a fair look at it. Unfortunately, all the hate, the gators and a-hogs have gotten their way, and Mike Clum has canceled his documentary because really a lot of them were like, now that Dark Side Phil is out of the picture, he should do a real expose video interviewing only his A-logs. It's like, I don't think they realize that Mike Clum's thing with Boogie that made it so successful was that he actually had unrestricted, candid access to Boogie, and he showed Boogie in a way that was like documentarian, and not just people like me or Turkey Tom or whatever, reading shit and flinging shit at him and playing clips. It was like a real documentary, and it's not really the same to just do like a hit piece on DSP without his permission. Even if it is something that you'd want to see, and maybe even something he would want to do, he wouldn't do it, because then if he wants to talk to Wingo next, or if he wants to talk to whoever next, they're going to look at that and say, oh, well, you're kind of like extorting me in a way, because now I know that I can either give you access and you'll make a fair documentary, or I can not give you access and you'll make a hit piece documentary without my permission. It's just not viable for him to proceed down that path. So I'd be surprised if he pursued it further. Such is life.